good, YouTube? Chris from Team Innovation here, bringing you guys another discussion today, where it's more, honestly, more advice than discussion. And it's pretty much giving you guys my number one tip for deck building. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, this number one tip is just going to be honestly really simple, but I notice a lot of players do not understand what tip is. And that tip is understanding what your deck is supposed to do. Now, it sounds simple, but it really ain't. Because, for example, a lot of people build these decks and they have different ideas. For example, Cleforce is a spam deck that can abuse skill drain and has a lot of consistency and search. Now, that's good. But some players like to do things like adding monarchs or like to do certain things like play enemy controller, etc. And it's great to innovate decks, but you can't really get mad when it's not as efficient as the standard build. I mean, there's a standard build for a reason. Now, when it comes down to building your deck, you have to figure out, okay, when you're putting the deck on the table, okay, what is this deck's goal? How am I going to accomplish that goal? What cards do I need to accomplish that goal? And how consistent can I accomplish that goal? And that is hard. That is really hard. Like, when I built Chain Gadgets, it was more along the lines of, okay, I see this deck in the OCG, and I see what it does, because all it does is spam on gadgets and exceed monsters, but how does it win? So I did some playing out with the deck, tested some hands out, and I'm like, oh, can this deck OTK? I had a question. And I'm like, oh, okay. I went through the combinations of the deck. I'm like, wow. If I pick this monster, chain this card, activate this card, wow, I can't OTK. But it only happened in a clear field. So from there on in, and once I discovered that, I built my whole deck around focusing on on OTKing my opponent as quick as possible. And you guys see where they got me, my first YCS top. Now, when it comes to you guys building decks for regionals, locals, big events in general, ARTs, YCSs, whether if it's Mermails, Cleaves, Necros, find out what your deck's goal is. Like, if you have a cliff off deck, and there's many different variants you can go on cliff off. You can go more control-y. I mean, the Monarch control-y thing is a thing, but I feel like cliff off is better just doing the standard stuff and having side deck tech. But if you're doing more of a control deck variant, build a control. Stop trying to, okay, I gotta have my control cards, I gotta have my spammy cards from enemy controller because everyone's running enemy controller. Oh, then I have to do this and that. Like, another great example would be the people using the Dinko Shaddols and using the enemy controller in the standard Shadow variants. Like, I've seen enemy controller a little bit of everything. I've seen enemy controllers in like artifact shaddols. I've seen it in a little bit of everything. Decks that don't even need it, like battery mans. And it's like, enemy controls are a good card, but the reason why people are running in shaddols is because you can hyper combo finish, like attack, 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 take monster, attack, attack for game. That simple. When Jeff Jones built the Dinko Shadow, his Dinko Shadow variant, the whole goal was to put in as much damage as possible in one turn. And that's the same thing I'm doing with my hero deck. For you guys that have already seen it, my whole goal is to just, as Paul Cooper said with his Dinko Shadow variant, just go ham. Go off as quick as possible for the OTK, because honestly, I'm an OTK player. I like putting in OTKs on the field. So, I guess to wrap this video up, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. When you guys are building a deck, no matter what the deck is, sit down. Don't just slap the deck together, because a lot of players do this too, which is why a lot of you guys ask me advice on what I think about this deck, what I think about that deck. You gotta sit down with your deck and be like, okay, what is this deck's goal? What am I trying to accomplish with this deck? How fast can I realistically accomplish it with the deck? And then you also, one more thing I forgot to mention, add, okay, how does this deck interact with the meta? How are the matchups with the deck? How fast can it be shadows? How fast can it be BA? What cards do those decks run and or tech that can counter my deck? And how can I decide accordingly for it? And there's a lot of thinking and variables going involved, but Once you do all that, deck building will be a lot easier. But one more tip of advice for once you do all that thinking, because I don't want you guys just throwing in side deck cards for every matchup thinking you're gonna win that way. I mean, you can do that if you're playing anti-meta, but for you guys that's running like, let's say, OTK deck or control deck or etc., you're going to want to figure out, okay, once you figure out what your deck goal is, you're going to want to make a rough draft copy and put everything at threes. That's my model. Put everything at threes, then cut it down to two if it's okay, and then come down to one, see how it works, and it may be up something and down something. And I always tech in things from time to time to see how it works. And then once it comes down to other matchups, throw your cards in a side deck and keep your deck focused on the main mission, which is to either A, OTK, B, control the field, or C, stall out and win my deck out, or whatever. So I know this video kind of seemed kind of jumbled, but I hope it made sense to you guys. So as a closing statement, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, support. As always, comment down in the comment section below what are you guys' thoughts with today's video at hand. If you guys have any more questions about deck building or anything like that, if you like this video, share the video and show your love for the channel, and go to my Q&A video and ask the question in detail if I can answer it on my Q&A sat weekends next week, because I'm trying to do the Q&A thing really good and consistently. And of course, I do this channel because I believe in helping you guys become better players. And I know a lot of you guys want to become better players, so that's my goal as a YouTuber, to help you guys out in the best way, shape, and form I can possibly can. So this is Chris from Team Innovation. I am signing out. Rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Deuces, have a good day. Don't forget to share the video.